I didn't plan on being here today. I thought the rapture was gonna take me up to heaven. I'm not gonna lie.
Spiritual psychosis is real. This is a psychological tool in spiritual warfare. Hey Divine Ones, Minister Ashley here. If you're seeing this video, we have made it through the rapture. Yes, you guys have possibly seen on TikTok or on social media about the rapture that is here. And I'm going to share a little bit of personal experiences with the whole rapture idea, some of the origins. I will share some clips about what people are saying about the rapture, about this event. So buckle up. Maybe get some tea, sit down, and let's really dive into this.
The rapture doctrine, John Nelson Darby. He added that to the Bible in 1827. That's not too long ago. I mean, that's literally just a couple hundred years ago. The rapture doctrine was added to the Bible as a cliff note. Pastor saw it as a positive thing that can put fear into people and energize the people, and could bring in a lot of money. So they made it part of the scripture, became part of the doctrine, but it was a cliff note originally by John Nelson Darby. The Gnostics knew that ain't it. When was hell added to the Bible? Oh, what do you mean? Hell was added to the Bible? What is he talking about? The lake of fire, the burning lake of fire, the eternal burning and suffering, purgatory. I'm gonna go there if I don't do this. That's why I gotta pretend like I love this stuff so I don't end up in this lake of fire. The fear is driving me to do this religion, and I'm not even aware of it. I'm just trying to save my ass. You know how many Christians come to me and tell me I'm doing this just in case?
The rapture is happening. Oh my God, what do we do? What do we do?
No, I don't see anything in here about a rapture. That's because the rapture isn't in there. Okay, but I saw it on TikTok, so.
Everything I see online is true.
Okay, let's take this one chunk at a time. Fine, hurry up.
There's only a few hours left according to this weird clock.
The actual word rapture isn't in the Bible, but there is a possible reference.
I knew it.
In 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16, Paul describes the living being caught up in the clouds together with the dead. But that could mean anything. Right. And as far as today's rapture prediction goes, it just came from a YouTube video of some guy in South Africa saying that the rapture was coming.
There's a date.
There is a date. Yeah, and he's a pastor, right?
Nope, he's just a dude who said he saw Jesus in a dream in 2018.
But why today? Why this year?
He said it was because of the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
What?
Look, rapture predictions aren't new, and they often take off during uncertain times. That makes sense.
Yeah, for example, I don't even know if I'd be able to watch Jimmy Kimmel tonight because ABC brought him back, but the affiliates Sinclair and Nexstar have still banned him. And so there's a lot of uncertainty around that.
Very specific example, but yeah.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about the origins of hell. So, in the original Bible, written in Hebrew, hell was actually originally Gehenna, a place outside of the city where they would throw prisoners and burn bad people, right? So, flaming torment, that's where it comes from. When the Bible was then translated into Greek, we started to get a little bit more of the Greek mythology into the Bible context, and Gehenna was turned to Hades, the god of the underworld, the underground flaming place that the Greeks believed you went after you died. How did we get from Gehenna to Hades to hell? Well, all you have to do is look to Norse mythology. The goddess Hel, H-E-L, was actually the goddess of the underworld in Norse mythology. The English translations come next, where they added that extra L. So, if you take Gehenna to Hades to hell, that's where hell came from, my darling. And in fact, most modern depictions that we see and know of hell come from Milton's Paradise Lost, which is also a work of fiction. So why are so many people afraid of hell, a place that has never been discovered, never been substantiated, and comes from mythology? Well, that's because during the Middle Ages, when the church realized that they could control people with fear, they ran with the concept of hell to give people a punishment for not believing. Hell is a tool that is used to control people with fear. Hell is fictional. Hope this helps.
Okay, so I'm going to share my personal experience with the whole rapture idea and how it drastically affected my life throughout young adulthood. Even as a teen, it affected my life, and how spiritual psychosis can operate under the radar through religion. First of all, I have shared this before about my mother. Her father, he was a deacon in a small country church. Her and her siblings had many experiences of toxic spirituality, first of all. So my mother wasn't really in the church after she became an adult, and I have that story on TikTok about, what happened with that whole situation. But my aunt, on the other hand, she joined the Holiness Church, which is a whole nother denomination of Christianity, and they have their own set of rules. Women can't wear anything pertaining to a man, whatever that may be. So technically you weren't allowed to wear pants if you were a woman. And that's just like one of the many laws that they have. As a young teen, I remember seeing a documentary on the TV at my grandmother's house, and it was about the rapture, about the end days. And I remember that was my first real experience of having a panic attack related to religion. And that affected me for like a couple of days. Fast forward to being a young adult and my aunt fully thrown into the holiness culture. I was, by that time I was living with one of my best friends at that time. She came to the door and she asked to speak with me, and I came to the door and she was like, Ashley, you need to find a church. You need to come to church. You need to give your life to Jesus. You need to go on and on and on. She was like, because the rapture can happen at any time, at any moment. You may not be prepared. You may not know if you have not accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior, the whole thing. And for days, actually for maybe about a week, that did affect me. It affected me longer than that, because it would, every once in a while, that idea, that theme would come back to me. And sometimes I would wake up out of my sleep and I would have, because I used to have panic attacks. I've eradicated those. I will share this other experience. This one is so embarrassing. A couple years after that, I'm in my own place. And I dated this guy in the Navy. So we only like went out on a couple dates. Keep that in mind. It was like for a couple of days or whatever. Nothing, serious or anything. But I feel so bad and embarrassed about this even to this day. For some reason, like these almost manic experiences, depressive, like this depressive spirit or energy that will enter into my life at that time. Like like a series of panic attacks, or either like a heavy depression. So anyways, just so happened, he was taking me out over a series of dates, and this weekend he was in the Navy, so he was going to ship out really soon. So for some reason during this weekend, I kept on overthinking about the rapture. It's like, it can come and happen at any time. I hope that I'm prepared. And it was like, I just don't want it to, I don't know what was going on. And I kept on saying this to him, and he's about to ship out. But he was patient. He even went to church with me, and I was there crying. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope you gave your life to God. I hope you gave your... He did contact me after that, but I just didn't contact him after because I felt so embarrassed. But anyway, so you see how it can affect your life. I remember another experience, waking up out of my sleep and having the tightness in my chest, hyperventilating. I was like, I could go at any time. Like everything came rushing in all of a sudden, like all of these manic thoughts. So anyways, I share this to share that spiritual psychosis is real. Like we can work ourselves up into a frenzy, into a belief that is attached to an emotion, and that emotion will build this, some people call it like a, either it could be another, like a spirit or entity, another life form all into itself. Now this is crossing over to my other channel about biblical magic and divination, but people will put themselves in this state, almost like a mantic state. And we see this in the New Testament with Apostle Paul and the girl with the python spirit. It was like you work yourself up into this state of mind until you believe fully what you are focusing on. And that can happen in the mantic energy or mindset that you work yourself up into. It can take on a whole life form of itself. So anyways, so that's how it was happening. And it can catch wildfire. It can go from one person to another, if that makes sense. So this is a psychological tool in spiritual warfare that affects the masses, and it can control people without having to really do anything. It's almost like a parasite, this idea of the rapture, and one person may put the pieces of the puzzle together and form this idea, and it's introduced into the public, into the mainstream, into the host, and from there it replicates. So that's what's going on now. And one idea that I did have when I was listening to some of these videos, I'm like, well, if the rapture was true, would that not be a good thing for those that are left behind? Just stick with me. If we have the origin of majority of the wars that we have going on now and that has happened in the past, And we have misogyny, we have patriarchy, we have, once again, wars and all these different laws that are based around religion. If those people were to be caught up or transported to another realm or to another line of existence, would the world improve? Would that not be a good thing for those that are left behind? Now, I know that the idea is that those that are left behind, they're going to experience famine. It's going to be other wars. It's going to be all this other toxic stuff that happens. But who are the producers and the ones that are producing these agendas and that are putting these laws in place? These are religious people. These are people that think that they have claim and right to a birthright to this land or to this group of people. They have the right to rule over these people, to dictate to this group of people or to this gender or to this race. Then all of these ideas come from religion, and they form religion based on their agendas, what they have, and they point to a higher deity. So therefore people can't really argue with it. It's like, well, whoever created me and created this entire world or existence, they have more knowledge and power than what I do. So if you were giving me rules and regulations and a whole theology and philosophy and a storyline of this deity, then obviously that must be the truth. And that's how they control people. So if those people and those ideas, if they go to another realm, if you will, like how the rapture is supposed to happen, then would that not be a good thing for us? Yes, there would be some tragedies that will happen. For example, if someone is flying the plane and they happen to get caught up, what happens to that plane? That's why you have a co-pilot. But anyways, I remember, let me tell you about this other video. Now, thankfully, I never went to an event like this, but it was a rapture event. Like the entire play, they had kids, teenagers, adults putting on a production about the rapture and hell. And a lot of kids and people that grew up seeing that and now they're adults, they recall their religious trauma. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget my latest books and my upcoming book, The Sacred Grail. Many blessings. Peace. And leave your comments down below.
I didn't plan on being here today. I thought the rapture was going to take me up to heaven. I'm not going to lie. Have y'all heard about this? The rapture, well, this is how it started. A pastor in South Africa said Jesus came to him in a dream and told him he was going to return to earth on September 23rd and take his true believers to heaven. So everybody on TikTok started spreading the word that the rapture was coming yesterday. I believe in the rapture. I believe it was coming. But this one, I didn't fall for the okie doke. Because I have been through this before. I used to be in a religion that told me that the rapture was coming. They told us to get our house in order. And I said, why? I'm not going to need a house. Where I am going, I don't need those worldly possessions. So, yeah, I didn't pay my bills. I didn't pay my taxes. I did not pay my traffic tickets. Because why would I pay anything when the world's about to end?